Hey guys, Jay Nice on the mic. So, I was having a rather interesting conversation today with someone. This particular individual told me that, he has a circle of about 10, it's like 10 or 12 male friends that he went to college with. So, he's known these people for like 10 years. And basically, he was telling me that mm, maybe half of his circle of friends, majority of whom are black, don't date black women. So y'all know me. I was like, hold up. You guys know I'm so pro black. So I was like, so wait, I'm always interested in finding out, when people have their preferences. I'm always interested in hearing and finding out why it is that, you know, you don't date whatever race um it is. And I'm always intrigued when black people say they don't date other black people, when white people say they don't date other white people, when Asians say, I had a friend who is Chinese, and he said he doesn't date Chinese girls because they remind him of his mom. I thought that was interesting. So I asked this individual, I said, well, why don't your friends, date black women? If you could kind of basically attribute it to one thing, what would you attribute it to? What is the number one reason as to why your friends do not date black women? And he said, the number one reason has to be their attitude, our attitude. I'm just playing. We've all heard this before. This isn't new. This isn't, anything new. That's like the recurring theme. I would say like top three reasons as to why black men, things I've heard as to why black men refuse to date black women, attitude, that we're too independent, as you guys have seen, may or may not have seen, I made videos about this. We're too independent, our attitude, and yeah, I would actually say it's those two things. We have this I don't need a man type of attitude, which is what is keeping us single. Um, so I think that to say something as trivial as our attitude is interesting. I asked him to elaborate more, and he said, well, black women have a lot of attitude. And I said, so other races of women. And let me just clarify that his friends date, these are black guys that refuse to date black women, and they only date white women. So I asked, well, why do they like to date white women? And he said, well, he feels like the first word he used was that they're docile. So I was like, so white women, in their opinion, are docile, therefore easier to control. So black women are not as easy to control. And he's like, well, I didn't mean to say the word docile. He just basically said white women are easier to get along with. He said races other than black women, pretty much. Um, this is nothing novel. This is nothing new. We know this. This is interesting. I just wanted to have a brief discussion as to why. Um, and as a black woman, I kind of want to explain on behalf of myself. I can't speak for all black women, obviously, because I'm one black woman, out of millions. But, um, I think that black women in society have had to and continue to endure a lot. And, my dear friend Tommy Sotomayor, in one of his videos, I believe he said that that is not a sufficient enough excuse, to say, oh, black women, we have attitudes and we're angry because of everything that we've had to go through. But I think it's a combination of, you know, a lot of black women, a lot of us are the heads of our households. We're raising children without a a father figure, without the person that we made the child with. So we've had to be strong. We've had to be resilient. We don't always have the chance to show our emotions and cry because a lot of times, like I said, we're the heads of the household. Our job is to remain strong. So in this attempt to remain strong, I think we've almost lost ourselves and we become too strong. We put on this tough exterior. And like Lauryn Hill said, don't be a rock when you really are, don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. I feel like many black women have hardened and have become bitter because of everything that we've had to endure. You know, so many of our black men are incarcerated, um, and we are left to raise children on our own. So many of our black men are not faithful and not committed. So we are in a position where we have to raise our children on our own. Everything that we've gone through, even beyond slavery, just the black woman goes through a lot. And as a black woman, I can say this: if you're not a black woman, sitting and looking from the outside in, it's easy to judge and say black men go through just as much. No, we our struggles are not um the same. We struggle, but the way that we struggle is different. So you can't demean and belittle what someone else is going through just because you don't understand it, or you think that you struggle as well. My struggle is not the same as someone who lives in Nigeria and has one arm. You know, I might struggle, but my struggle is not the same. So I think it's like apples and oranges. People love to compare and say black men struggle as well, which I'm not arguing against. But I just think that based on everything that black women have had to endure, I think that that's hardened us. And I think the result of this is that we, as black women, have kept on this tough exterior. We don't want to let our walls down. Um, you know, and we many of us play positions where we have to be strong. So while this might for us come off as being strong, to men, and particularly many black men, it comes off as us being having an attitude, which is extremely unfortunate because I've never been the type to be like, I only date white men, I only date black men, I only date light skin, I only date dark skin. I went through phases where I was like, I date this, I date that. But now that once I became older and expanded my mind, I realized that every person is unique. And you might have had 10 bad experiences with black women, but you meet me and I'm somebody completely different. You can't treat everybody as is. And I understand, you know, every time you eat bananas, you throw up. You're probably not going to eat bananas anymore. But I beg of you to have an open mind. If you're, any of you guys watching this video are one of the people who refuse to date whatever, because particularly within the black community, the supply of black men is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So if you are the type of person the type of black man who only wants to date, I'm sorry, the type of black woman who only wants to date black men, this is something to be aware of, how black men are perceiving us. Many of us are perceived as having attitudes. So this is something that we as a whole could try to work on, could try to modify. We have this angry black woman stereotype. Um, and obviously that doesn't apply to everyone. There's people who do fit the stereotype, but I think that the media definitely helps to perpetuate that. We're showcased in the media is that we're showcased as being angry, we're showcased as being loud, we're showcased as being belligerent. So this just kind of adds to the negative stereotypes that are already out there. So I think the media plays a huge role, and then we have to be very mindful of not playing into these stereotypes. So in the process of trying not to um, confirm stereotypes, it causes stress for us. I don't advocate for being fake, but I also think that if you know that you defy the odds and defy the stereotype, we should be trying to set examples and showing people, okay, not every single black person is ignorant and loud and does this and does that. Life is about breaking stereotypes, breaking people's, shattering expectations. So, um, I think we as black women have to understand how we're being perceived. And obviously this isn't true, but this is like a constant narrative that we have attitudes, we're too much, we're too independent. So if you're a black woman out there who wants to date a black man, this is something you have to be mindful of and you have to be aware of. So let me know what you guys think. And I will talk to you guys later. Let me know in the comment section if you are one of the types of people who dates or doesn't date your race. And what, if you're a black man and you refuse to date black women, what your reasoning for that is. So I love you guys, and I will check you guys out next time.